Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Girls Frontline 2 video. So if you guys are not aware, the next character in line is going to be this girl right here, this doll, Nikketa. So let's talk a little bit more about her because I see a little bit of misconceptions going on around regarding a couple of things. Number one is her dupes, number two is her weapon. So hopefully in this video, we clear things up, give you guys better information on what she can do overall for your team and what is the good stopping point, ideally if you're free to play, if you are a low spender, and give you guys a better idea. So if you guys are not aware, Nikketa is a sniper character. She's a sentinel class for the Hydro team, right? So she is going to be, I guess just look at her as somewhat like a Hydro Macchiato in a way, right? So she has this ability that can summon this particular dog robot called Kulik, right? Or Kulich, right? A very, very cool concept. Being a character or being a doll that can summon that is going to help her boost your Hydro team overall. Now, where does she stand right now in terms of the damage, right? In terms of the meta, if you're talking about specifically in her best in slot or best team right now, which is in the Hydro team, she's actually really good. In fact, in most cases, she surpasses Tololo if you're trying to pull for copies, right? If you're talking about same investment with both Tololo and Nikketa, right? They are going to, Nikketa is going to be a little bit better, but I'm guessing most players already have like V3 or V4 or like high dupes for Tololo, but you're looking to get just 1 or 2 copies of Nikketa, so we're going to jump into that and give you guys a better idea as a whole, right? Now, first things first that you need to be aware of, in the Hydro team right now, we got Springfield, which is going to be the core for the Hydro team. So if you don't have Springfield, right, and you're trying to pull for Nikketa, your Nikketa will not achieve that maximum damage ceiling that is needed for her to basically surpass the other teams, right? So if you don't have Springfield, my advice is, focus on the other team. So only if you are looking to build like a Hydro team specifically, right now, that's going to be where she shines at, right? So she's going to belong in the Hydro team alongside with Springfield and of course Tololo right here. So that tree is going to be pretty much core, and then you're going to mix in with like maybe like Corrosion team, add in Kluke or Mekti alongside in there to basically form like a full team for the time being until we got more Hydro characters. They'll be added later, right? Okay, so I want to jump into the first thing. The most important thing that I see a lot of misconceptions, surprisingly, is going to be on her weapon. Alright, so she has an exclusive weapon right here called the Silver Wing Dream Warden. Now, this weapon is apparently pretty bad for her, right? So if you're looking for her best weapon, actually it's going to be Macchiato's weapon, Bittersweet Caramel. This weapon will be able to perform 10% better than her own exclusive weapon. Now, how this works is because of the 10% ignore defense. Now, this is going to be calculated as a separate multiplier as far as I am aware in the damage formula, which basically put this weapon as at a better priority for Nikketa herself, which is kind of insane, right? So I think this is going to be something that I want to clear up because there's a lot of misconception going around about needing to pull for Nikketa's weapon. No, you don't really need to pull for a weapon. In fact, you don't want to pull for a weapon because unless you are going for V6 specifically, right? Now, Samosek is going to be a very good free-to-play weapon. Even this one, apparently, is going to be a little bit better than her own weapon. If I'm not mistaken, 4% better than her own weapon. The only player that should be pulling for Nikketa's weapon, the Silverwing Dream Warden, is if you are trying to basically get the full set or it's like an OCD thing, number one. Number two, you already have a V6 Nikketa and you're trying to get a V6 weapon, then this weapon is going to be better. But in most cases, if you're free to play, low spender, I recommend going for Bittersweet Caramel and Samosek. These two weapons surprisingly performs better than her own exclusive weapon, the Silver Wing Dream Warden. So save your pulls in the weapon part. Actually, there's no need for you to get her weapon. Now let's talk about her character as a whole then. Now her basic skill basically just fires an enemy within a 9-tile radius, pretty simple, pretty basic. Skill 1, she basically calls for partner, selects an empty tile, summons Kulik. So this is going to be the dog that she has the ability to control. Deals AoE physical damage equal to 80% attack to all enemies, alright, and then applies Guild for 2 turns. If Kulik is already present, that means he's already on the field, it will be relocated to the selected tile, increase Confidence Index by 1 point for self. Now, what is Guild? Guild is some sort of debuff that you can apply to the enemy. Basically, they take 5% more Hydro damage from both Nikketa and Kulik. So ideally, this is going to be a very, very good Hydro debuff, but it only pretty much works on her and in this case, the partner Kulik, right? So one more thing is skill 2 right here. This is going to be quite important as well. Select an enemy right here. and deals hydro damage equal to 80%, applies guild for 2 turns again, increase Convectors Index by 2 points for self and gains extra command. So pretty simple, skill 1 and skill 2 is simple enough, and then the third skill, the ultimate skill, selects an enemy, deals hydro damage, again single target right here. If the target already has guild, performs an additional attack and removes the guild. Alright, consumes all Convectors Index. For each additional point of Convectors Index consumed, increase the damage of this skill by 5%. So this is going to be where it is pretty interesting. Notice how the ultimate skill, if the target already has guild, then you are going to do an additional attack and removes guild. So ideally you want to either do skill 1 or skill 2 first, because these two is going to apply guild to the enemy, right? And then you use the ultimate skill afterwards, so that way you get more damage as a whole, right? Now this is where her V1 comes in. So why is her V1 very, very important? And it's quite crucial in a way, because she can basically use, at V1, the damage multiplier increased by 20% for her skill 2, right? And then the extra command is replaced with extra action. So what she can do is she can use skill 2 first and then ultimate skill afterwards. So basically, go for a better cycle with the V1 as a whole, right? But let's talk about the passive skill first before we jump into the dupes, right? So Kulik is present, that's the dog. Nikketa gains insight. Before Nikketa and Kulik activates their skill, both are going to gain 1 stack of clue. If face weakness is exploited, gains additional stack of clue. Now clue basically increase damage dealt outside of 1's turn by 5%. This can go up to 25%. Is this a hydro type of buff and cannot be dispelled? So clue basically buffs your character. Since Nikketa is sort of like a counter character in a way, she is going to be able to do more damage as well. So Kulik can perform 1 counter attack per round. After performing counter attack, Nikketa activate Righteous Verdict against the target. So Righteous Verdict again is the ultimate skill that Nikketa has. So every counter attack she basically performs the ultimate on the enemy. Very, very cool, right? So let's look at Nikketa's Vs then. This is going to be her dupes. So at V1, I mentioned this earlier, her skill 2 is going to increase by a little bit 20%, but extra command is replaced by extra action. That's going to give her the flexibility to basically switch from using her second skill and then immediately to the ultimate skill. So this is going to make Nikketa sort of like very, very useful in that situation, that she can cycle things much easier. Now in a Tololo team, keep in mind that if you already got Nikketa and Tololo inside, alright, alongside with your Springfield, you want to be able to rotate both in the optimal conditions. Springfield is encouraged to have V2. But if you don't have V2 Springfield, don't worry about it, right? V1 is still going to work. It's just that it's going to be a little bit janky when you try to move them. You won't have the optional rotation buff. Right now you can see for V2, this is going to be Nikketa's a little bit upgrade. Multiplier increased by 20%. This is for the ultimate skill, skill 3. Decrease convectance cost by 1 point. If target has guild, applies surveillance on the target after skill activation for 1 turn. So surveillance basically takes 15% more damage from counter attack performed by the Kulik, right, by the dog. Now V3 is going to be the very interesting one. Doubles the maximum stack limit for clue to 10 stacks. Kulik can perform an additional counter attack per turn. This is going to be a big one, because remember that Nikketa basically relies on this counter attack for Nikketa to basically activate her third skill afterwards, right? So if your dog can basically perform 1 more counter attack, that's going to be a lot of damage increase, right, for V3 overall. So I would say if you're looking for a very, very big upgrade, V3 is going to essentially almost double her damage, alright? So that's going to be something that you need to take note of. But I would say if you are free to play and you can't go to V3, that's fine. V1 is going to be a good stopping point. I would highly recommend if you guys can get her to V1, you're going to have a much better rotation as a whole. In fact, big shout out to the CN player right here, Carbonated Ice Black Tea, I believe. This person has made a very, very good chart right here that you can have a look at. So this is going to be a very interesting one. At V0, Nikketa performs about similar to Cheongju at V0. But you can see at V1 right here, this is going to be about 112% as opposed to 100% damage increase. V2 is going to be 128%. And then V3, you can see the damage spike increased to about 189%, almost 190%, right? So if you can go to V3, you're going to get like almost double the damage. But V4 and V5, as far as I know, is not going to be that big. But V6, you can see this is comparison between V6 Nikketa and V6 Kluke. Alright, so right here, I believe my face cam is covering that. So V6 Kluke is still going to be much more universal and she does more. But V6 Nikketa is not too far behind. right? So if you are looking to basically gather that and basically power her up to that extent. So all in all, if you are a free-to-play player and you are looking to basically build a Hydro team as a whole, then Nikketa V1 is going to be a good stopping point. Now it is going to be a little bit expensive depending on, you know, if you are going to win 50-50 or lose 50-50, that's going to be a little bit annoying. Now going V6 is going to be probably out of the budget for most players, right? Right now, I would say if you guys are thinking if you want to invest in either a Hydro team or an electric team, that's going to be something that you probably want to wait for a little bit first, because right now, after Nikketa, we're gonna have Jiangyu coming right after. So if you're looking to invest in a different team or an electric team later on, I've no idea whether she will be strong or not, because Jiangyu right now is kind of weak, but this is going to be a new version of Jiangyu. They are going to have a revamped version. Apparently, they are trying to upgrade her skills in the CN side of things. So we'll have to wait for the CN players to test them out yet, or maybe we won't even have the chance to test them out because it might even happen at the same time, right? So that's going to be something that we'll have to wait and see. I do think that after this point, a lot of the characters are going to be less predictable, because it seems like Mika is shuffling all of the characters around. So make sure you guys play it safe, alright? If you don't want to like make the wrong decision, just wait for a little bit before the banner ends to get a better idea, right? If you don't care about Hydro team, that's fine. You can invest in the other team. I think Burn team is way cheaper for most players to invest in for the time being, right? But Physical is also looking really, really strong with Void Mastina coming out in the CN server recently. That sort of like changes the trajectory of how things operate. Alright, so with that being said, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know if you guys are pulling or not. As per usual, I'll update you guys if there's any news for the CN boycott or whatever for the dormitory system, because I believe they're gonna have a meeting at a later date. So that's going to be something that we'll have to wait and see. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe if you guys haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.